Tonight, are there aliens among us?
Orange balls of light shot over my pickup.
How did the recent citizens' hearing on disclosure convince 6 former members of Congress that aliens exist?
You have the United States government not tell the truth and shroud everything in secrecy.
Is there a close encounters of the third kind landing site in northern Utah?
Contact with ETs is going on.
And is a mysterious billionaire hiding the truth?
He wants to meet extraterrestrials. He wants to learn from their technology.
Really? I'm on a mission to find hard evidence that will convince me and you that aliens are here right now on Earth.
They may have messed with my ovaries.
Talk isn't enough. I asked you for evidence.
But I'm telling you
Stories suck. I want a spaceship with a bug-eyed corpse inside because I am Joe Rogan, alien hunter. I thought I heard something.
What do you see?
Oh, my God. Oh, no.
Are we alone in the universe? That is the big question. The universe we exist in is infinite. This galaxy is one of hundreds of billions of galaxies in the known universe. Inside every galaxy is a supermassive black hole. Inside that supermassive black hole may be a whole other universe with hundreds of billions of galaxies inside of it, each with black holes in the center, each that go to another universe with hundreds of billions of galaxies. That's infinity. That's how big it is. Wrap your head around that. So is it likely that there is intelligent life out there? Very much so. But have they visited us? And if so, where's all the evidence? If there really is intelligent life out there that's been visiting Earth, that's been doing ET drive-bys, how come nobody gets a picture of it that looks legit? How come everybody that tells you about a UFO abduction is kind of sketchy?
When I looked up, I saw this figure, kind of a rectangular-shaped head.
Why is it that everything connected to UFOs looks like horse? I don't know, but I want to find out. Bill Burns is the publisher of UFO Magazine, and he has investigated countless UFO sightings for decades. He has written extensively about the subject. Surely he's got to know where the alien bodies are buried, right? Now, Bill, how did you get involved with this whole UFO subject?
Back in the 1950s, I had my first sighting, and it was a really weird sighting. I was a kid, and I was interested. And then I met a guy who said that he was the Pentagon's inside guy on UFO debris. And he said that they showed him a file cabinet that had debris from the crash at Roswell.
The Roswell story is the holy grail for UFO believers. In July of 1947, the Roswell Daily Record had a front-page story claiming that the Army had recovered a flying saucer. Everyone went crazy. People couldn't believe this was proof. Aliens are visiting Earth. But then the next day, they came out with a retraction and said, we made a mistake. It was just a weather balloon. To this day, it is the one story that almost all UFO believers stand by. So this guy says that he had actual access to the remains of this crashed UFO.
Better. This guy said not only did he have access to the technology of this UFO, he said that he actually saw an alien body at Fort Riley, Kansas, in 1947 that was on its way up to Walter Reed Army Hospital for an autopsy.
I really like you a lot. And what I like about you is you got great stories and they're very dramatic. And if I had met you 20 years ago, I'd be hook, line, and sinker right now. But all I'm hearing is there's a guy who says this, and then he says that, and he says he did this. This is not evidence. This is a story. What would be the best piece of evidence that you could offer?
So here's a guy who was the public information officer at the Roswell Army Airfield. Okay, his name was Walter Haut. He was a lieutenant. So these two interviewers, they interview Walter Haut on tape. They get him to admit not only was there a real crash at Roswell, he saw the actual craft on an Army flatbed under a tarp, and they were rolling it out of the base.
I understand. I gotta stop.
Okay,
I
yourself.
asked you for evidence.
This is evidence.
A guy saying something is not real evidence.
Sure it is.
No, it's not. You're telling me stories.
I'm telling you
Stories
this-
suck. They're great for campfires. But as far as evidence, they're not real.
Look, I'm more skeptical than you because
Oh,
I'm just...
how dare you?
Why?
Look me right in the eye
I will
and
look you
say
right in the
you're
eye,
a
and I will
UFO
say,
skeptic.
I am a UFO skeptic, not a
Oh.
debunker.
I would love it if there was a UFO that I could see and touch. as
You
long as
can
it's
on
safe.
film.
No, you
They're
can't.
all over the place.
You can't touch anything on film.
You could touch it with your eyes.
I don't know
That's
what you're
touching.
talking about.
You can't cover this thing up because a lot of people are seeing UFOs, and they're seeing them all over the world, right? But they figured out something even more brilliant. They said, what's the best way to hide something? Best way. Hide it in plain sight. Tell people it's something else, and they'll just overlook it. Step two, if somebody reputable starts talking about UFOs, you can co-opt the person and say, hey, you want to know UFOs? We'll show you the real deal. But not only can you never talk about it publicly, you have to be a debunker publicly.
I'll tell the government right now, tell you right now if you're listening, NSA, CIA, I'm available, okay? If you show me all the real wreckage, I swear to God, I will make fun of that crap to the end of time. I'll make up stories. I'll lie to my mother. I don't care. You show me a UFO, I'll lie to my mother. Thank you very much for your time. That was very
Nice meeting you.
fascinating.
Great.
Really interesting conversation. One thing you can say about Bill Burns is that he's passionate about what he believes. But I'm gonna meet a man named Steve Bassett who takes UFO obsession to a whole different level. Bassett did something brand new in the UFO world. His citizens' hearing on disclosure brought forth an impressive list of UFO eyewitnesses, and they gave testimony to 6 former members of the U.S. Congress. Even if they were agnostic about UFOs, all 6 former members of Congress came away from the hearings thinking that the government is hiding something. Steve Bassett, how are you, sir?
Great to meet you, Joe.
Great to meet you as well. For the folks at home, what are your credentials? Like, what do you do for a living?
I'm executive director of an advocacy organization, and all I've done for the last 17 years is to pursue the resolution of the extraterrestrial issue by political means. I'm the first lobbyist in history on this issue.
What makes you believe that the UFOs are real? Did you have a personal experience?
No.
Nothing.
Never. I believe there are 4 fundamental facts that have been established.
Facts.
Facts.
Facts,
These
okay.
are certainties. The 4 fundamentals. The presence of extraterrestrials, to me, is a fact. They're from one of those billions of other life zone planets that we've just recently discovered. Second fact, the government knows about it, has known about it early on, going back to at least
Fact.
the 40s. Fact. Absolutely. We got the documents. We got witnesses. The third fact is that the government has withheld this. We have too many people that have come forward and talked about it. And then the fourth fact is that contact with ETs is going on. And it is the center of this phenomenon. In other
That's
words,
fact?
I believe it's been established. The evidence is too overwhelming.
What's the evidence?
The evidence is 1 million+ reports from around the world with consistent descriptions of these entities and what goes on.
I would like to believe that there's UFOs that are coming here from another planet, but
Right.
you're basing this entirely on a bunch of people's accounts. What is there that you can bring and weigh and measure?
2 weeks ago, Paradigm Research Group brought 40 witnesses to Washington, D.C.
Right.
Air Force officers. They all worked on nuclear sites. We had them testify to 6 former members of Congress, and they all came in pretty neutral on this subject. I didn't ask what their position was, and by the 3rd day, their hair was on fire.
Why do you believe today the military has suppressed the whole idea of unidentified flying objects?
They have recovered UFO technology. That is very valuable stuff. That's worth keeping a secret.
These objects know in great detail how our missiles operate.
Somebody out there, extraterrestrial, can shut off our defense capability just like that.
If they were to let the general public know that they have no control over these objects, that they chase them and can't catch them, that's something they don't want the public to really know.
There's just no doubt in my mind that there's an extraterrestrial presence that's affecting the planet.
Well, listen, man, if I went there and listened, you'd probably convince me too. It's a sexy thought. The idea that there's really aliens, and they're coming down, and people are really contacting them, it might be true. But there's no real evidence.
Well, I would definitely recommend talking to Michael Gravel. And I really appreciate your saying to your audience that the work that I'm doing is sexy.
It's very sexy.
Let's get that out there.
It's very sexy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
You're
it,
welcome.
buddy. I need to know how Bassett convinced these former officials that aliens do exist and why they think that the government would be covering it up. Is it because they want to meet aliens? I'm going to meet with one of the highest-ranking officials from the conference. His name is Mike Gravel. He's a former two-term senator from Alaska and a former presidential candidate. He believes that the government has had proof of alien life for a long time. First of all, sir, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure is mine.
Now, you having all that experience working within our governmental system and knowing about what you believe to be contact with alien life.
That's right.
The if they really are here part, I don't feel has been substantiated.
We have sightings, crashes, but the material has been absconded essentially by the United States government. And you have the United States doing what it does great, not tell the truth and shroud everything in secrecy.
Do you think that the same secrecy we see in government today with like WikiLeaks, does that have anything to do with why this stuff has been kept secret?
Totally, totally. You have to appreciate that it really all triggered with Roswell in '47. Harry Truman made the decision, no, we're going to keep this secret. The military just jumped on this because they're secret mongers, so to speak.
There have been some official explanations as to Roswell.
What was recovered near Roswell, New Mexico in July 1947 was debris from a formerly top-secret Army Air Forces research project, codenamed Mogul.
They had a whole plan of disinformation. This is the government, this is the Air Force doing this.
Does the Air Force have any evidence at all of any sort of spacecraft wreckage or extraterrestrial presence on Earth?
Yes. There's been about 10 crashes of UFOs since the Second World War, since
And
'47.
these reports were all from
various incidents, like in Peru, where the CIA was there overnight with helicopters, picked up the debris and the bodies, and just carted away.
And how did you hear about this?
This was through the hearing. I personally believe now, as a result of the hearings that we've had, that there's just no question that there's an extraterrestrial presence that's monitoring our planet.
Coming up,
Robert Bigelow. He's a hotel tycoon who may be in possession of crashed UFOs and things like that.
Really? And later,
we can look directly down into the ranch house.
So this ranch that we're looking at has armed guards that keep people from getting into it.
All of them ex-military.
is there proof that aliens exist? I'm talking to former U.S. Senator Mike Gravel, a former presidential candidate, who believes that the U.S. government has been hiding evidence that we are not alone in the universe.
I personally believe now, as a result of the hearings that we've had, that there's just no question that there's an extraterrestrial presence that's monitoring our planet. What the military was focused on was to get the material and do some re-engineering so that we could build the equipment of that nature.
Back engineering, right?
That's right.
Gravel has a very interesting point. If UFOs are real, they must have some insanely advanced propulsion system. And if the government is aware of this, why aren't they using that propulsion system? And then the question becomes, maybe they are.
If that's the case, then that means that within the bowels of the government, held under this priesthood of militarism, that we have the capacity to change the nature of energy as we know it as human beings.
It's a pretty big what if, though. That's just a story, right?
I'll give you another example. We had testimony from the people who were in the silos, you know, the two guys that turned the keys, that when the UFO was above them, that nothing worked.
I received the first of 2 phone calls that there was a large oval-shaped object hovering above the front gate.
The object had stopped a few miles to the east and appeared to be above the closest launch facility.
As I started to inform my commander, our missiles began to shut down.
Suddenly, our radio went dead. All missiles were off alert and unlaunchable. We had never seen such a thing before.
What you can conclude is, from the trillions of dollars we spent on defense, that when it's in contact with UFOs, it's moot. It doesn't work. We've wasted all this money on defense.
I absolutely think that if there is extraterrestrial life out there, and I think there most likely is extraterrestrial life out there, I absolutely think they would monitor us. I mean, it only makes sense.
That's right.
Nuclear
That's right.
power, the ability to communicate instantaneously. We're a fairly advanced culture, but there's nothing that I've seen that convinces me that it's happened.
The evidence is there.
But what evidence?
The evidence has been covered over by the government.
I want to believe what Gravel and the others have to say, but I don't know what the government has hidden away, and neither does anybody else. So I wanted to go after a different type of eyewitness, someone a little less official. The bottom line is, I need some evidence. You gotta bring something back in order for me to take it totally seriously.
Yeah.
Apparently this woman named Nicole Dome has some sort of an alien implant that she claims she got inside of her body. I don't know the full story, but you're gonna learn it. And I figure it'd be perfect for you. That's your type of person.
Hey, yeah, this sounds like an eHarmony date for me.
Freaky, tattooed up, very pretty girl who's been abducted by aliens.
It's my soulmate.
That's it. You're on the path.
This is exciting. Hi, Nicole.
Hey.
I'm Duncan.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, I heard you've been abducted by aliens.
You kind of have a crazy story. So my girlfriend and I were driving down the road, and there's this huge disc hovering above the sky. So we just pulled over, and we get out, and then the next thing I remember, we're 2 miles down the road, and I'm kind of holy, we just saw a spaceship.
What did they do to you?
They may have messed with my ovaries.
That's scary.
There is an incision line right over my left side. And what was so crazy about it is that it's so precise. I mean, it looks like a surgical line. It's not like some weird scar or blemish.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
If there's a beautiful girl talking about her ovaries, I'm not gonna get a lot of high-quality detective work out of Duncan. While Nicole says she was abducted, she has no real evidence other than a photo of a scar. But this next gentleman that I'm gonna meet, while he's not a beautiful girl, does have a very cool name. He's Daryl Sims, alien hunter. And he says that he's bringing with him some real live alien implants that were extracted from people who have been abducted by UFOs. Hey, Daryl.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
What's going on,
Duncan.
man? Pleasure.
Good to see you.
Thanks
Good
for
to see
joining
you.
us.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Appreciate it. Well, that's a sweet belt buckle.
Thank you.
What is it?
Secret Service.
Secret Service.
Reagan Ranch.
Sweet.
Wow.
So, how did you get involved in this?
I come from a strong policing background. I spent 2 years in Central Intelligence Agency in covert operations and been a private investigator for 30 years. And the bottom line to me is evidence, and that's my pursuit.
When you say evidence, what evidence is there?
In my research here, I can show you evidence of embedded objects found in people.
So these are all various implants, this whole box you have.
There are all kinds of evidence. The objects we want to look at today are going to look like that. They're quite small.
Are they the size of BBs?
They are much smaller.
Much smaller.
Much smaller. They're right here.
That's them?
Take a look.
What's that? Coming up.
So now she can zoom in.
Keeper.
What the heck is that? And later, what's the craziest thing you've seen personally?
It was like a rectangular shaped object hovering over my pickup.
Today, I'm meeting with Daryl Sims. He's been called the alien hunter, and he says he's brought with him an actual alien implant for us to analyze.
Take a look.
These were inside someone's body.
That is correct. A little girl, 6 years old, in her nasal passage. And she told her mother about these strange little men with these weird bug eyes and all that. Her mother contacted me and told me about the event, and I said had her sneeze into a Kleenex, and she did, and 4 of these little gold spheres ended up in the Kleenex.
What do you believe these things are for?
Belief is not important to me. The important thing is, what does the evidence show? It's not important what I think or what I believe.
Right.
Belief is irrelevant to me. The important thing is, what can you prove? And if you can't prove it in a forensic setting, then It's anecdotal at best, and that's it.
Did you have that analyzed?
No, we have not had this analyzed. We'd like to have it looked at.
So what you're saying essentially is that you only want facts. You're open-minded about all this, but you just want what is provable, period.
That's it.
The snot marbles, it seems like that's hard for me to believe that that's an alien implant, just because, you know, little kids will put carrots in their nose, they'll snort metal.
I had to pull
flakes.
a Barbie doll shoe out of my daughter's nose. She just stuffed it right up there. She started crying, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. I had to look up her nose, saw this little thing. I had to get a pair of tweezers. Kids are crazy.
Kids are crazy. Some of my friends will put anything in their nose.
We're gonna take some of these implants and we're going to bring them to the electron microscope capable of extreme magnification. So we're gonna have an expert look at them and get a really close look at them and see what they're made of.
How you doing, young lady?
All right, sir. Joe.
Hi. Arun Kumar, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Arun Kumar.
Nice to meet you.
Daryl Sims, glad to
Arun
meet you,
Kumar,
sir.
glad to meet you.
Dr. Kumar, what exactly is going on here?
We place the sample in the electron microscope, then turn on an electron beam.
That's amazing. How close are you looking right there?
We're 3,500 times.
3,500 times. That is so badass.
Well, we'll see what it comes out.
Has anybody ever brought you something to analyze that may or may not have come from an alien?
Yes, sir. We have done some from Roswell, New Mexico. Yes.
That's the big one. That's the holy grail. What do you think happened in Roswell, if you had to guess?
Well, right now we haven't gotten any positive samples that I can tell you what happened, so I have no idea.
Wow. Look at that.
God.
So now she can zoom in.
Deeper.
What the heck is that?
That kid snorted a Death Star. That's amazing.
Now she's turning on the X-ray beam and you can see the elements coming up. What we are seeing is about 75% gold, 24% silver.
Kid sneezes money.
She should be in a rap video.
But how it got there, we don't have a clue.
In all of your experience working here, have you ever known of a orb like that to come out of a human body?
Not anything that shape and composition.
If I was an alien, I'd leave little sharp pieces of metal around people's house so that they would actually step on the implant. And then
alien you'd be.
I would be.
It's very, very interesting stuff. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Okay, so what do we know? The two little tiny metal spheres were stuck up a little kid's nose. Well, unless that metal only exists on another planet, it doesn't really bring me any closer to the truth. So I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated here. So I'm gonna take another route. I'm gonna meet with a guy named Jason McClellan. He's a journalist, and he says that he could put me on the right track. I've been a UFO dork since I was a small boy. I'm sure you are as well.
Oh, yeah. One of the most interesting guys that I've researched is Robert Bigelow. He's a hotel tycoon, and he wants to meet extraterrestrials. He wants to learn from their technology. So much, in fact, that he has funded millions and millions of dollars worth of research through this company, Bigelow Aerospace. The FAA, in fact, directs UFO sightings to Robert Bigelow and Bigelow Aerospace.
That's fascinating. What do you think that they've discovered?
He might have knowledge about extraterrestrials that hasn't been shared with the public, and he may be in possession of crashed UFOs and things like that.
Really?
Yes. Bigelow, through all of his research, may have uncovered alien technology and reverse engineered that for his use with his technology company.
And what is that speculation based on that makes you believe that that could be possible?
In the New York Times, in an article in 2010 that was talking about Bigelow Aerospace, he started talking about UFOs. He slipped, and he was quoted in the article as saying, people have been killed, people have been hurt. It's more than observational kind of data.
And what does he mean by that?
He's referring to a well-documented case that happened in 1977 where a wave of UFOs came and attacked people, and 2 people actually died.
What laser cell? They only killed 2 people? Well, we could drop a bomb on a city and wipe it flat, and they're like, pew, 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 pew.
But you assume
pew, pew.
you know their intentions. They could have been marking people or implanting them with some sort of technology.
Or it could have never really happened.
Well, I'll tell you this. There are people who don't believe that explanation from Bigelow. People believe that he was actually talking about an incident that happened on a ranch that he owns in Utah, Skinwalker Ranch, the infamous
I've heard
Skinwalker
about
Ranch.
that. Skinwalker Ranch. A lot of people in the UFO community believe that if there was a place with an actual landing site like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, it would be at Skinwalker Ranch. Have you ever been to Skinwalker Ranch?
I have not. If I had been to Skinwalker, I would be dead.
What's on Skinwalker Ranch?
That's the question.
Coming up.
People have talked about seeing aliens.
2 investigators on the ranch saw a point of light appear over a dirt road. An 8-foot-tall creature came out, and the door closed and disappeared.
Wow, you're blowing my mind.
I'm talking to journalist Jason McClellan, and he's filling me in on all the ET shenanigans going down at Skinwalker Ranch. What's on Skinwalker Ranch?
That's the question. In the whole area, people know about this ranch and the weird things that go on there. And it was Bigelow's research organization, NIDS, or National Institute of Discovery Science. And these people investigated everything from UFOs to cattle mutilation to alien abductions. And they purchased this ranch. So Bigelow has been in possession of this ranch and very, very possessive of it, won't let anybody on it.
So what is the idea behind why this ranch is so special?
Well, that's what people think Bigelow was talking about, was a battle between extraterrestrials and some of the security guards there.
Whoa, how do you know that that's real?
That.
But how do you know it's real?
It's well known.
Like that's where they land?
And that's certainly a theory that gets tossed around a lot.
Have you ever talked to Bigelow?
No.
Man, what are old dudes like? You gotta find out what dudes in their 60s like and get them a ton of that. Give them a back rub, get them talking.
Well, he likes UFOs and extraterrestrials, so get him a UFO.
How about a hot chick that's dressed like an alien?
He's got money. He can get that.
You can get that.
Yeah.
High five. What does Robert Bigelow know that we don't know? And is he hoarding some kind of alien technology on a ranch in Utah? I'm sending my pal Duncan Trussell to meet with Dr. Eric Davis. Dr. Davis is an astrophysicist who works for NASA, and he used to work for Robert Bigelow, and he has spent some time on Skinwalker Ranch.
Tell us a little bit about what your job was working for Bigelow.
NIDS is the National Institute for Discovery Science, and that was Bob Bigelow's institute for the study of anomalous phenomena. I was the director of aerospace physics research. We went out to do forensic science investigations in the field of a variety of anomalous phenomena, such as UFO encounters, cattle mutilations, and whatnot.
Do you personally believe that Bob Bigelow could be currently working with the United States government?
Yes, he has a NASA Space Act agreement with NASA headquarters doing a study on the commercialization of deep space exploration.
Wow. People have talked about seeing aliens at Skinwalker Ranch.
2 individuals who are field investigators on the ranch saw a point of light appear over a dirt road, and the point of light looked like a door that opened up. An 8-foot-tall creature came out, and the door closed and disappeared.
Wow, so they think that they saw an alien emerge. You're blowing my mind.
I know, they were up on the top of the bluff, so they couldn't chase it.
Chase it, you run from it. If something crawls out of a wormhole, you don't chase it.
Well, unfortunately, it would be about a quarter-of-a-mile hike back down, and the thing was already gone. They had military night vision binoculars, and they had cameras with infrared filters on them.
Where are the pictures?
The pictures didn't develop because, unfortunately, the gentleman who had the camera forgot to put the infrared filter on.
Can you imagine forgetting to put the right filter on?
I know.
One time in human history that an alien comes crawling out of a wormhole.
We're only human. We make mistakes.
You worked at Skinwalker Ranch. Did you see any of this stuff firsthand?
I saw unusual balls of light that you just couldn't explain. It was intelligent. It was watching us. It was observing us. And that was the only time that we actually caught one of these balls of light on camera.
Where is this video? Can I see it?
No, the video is in storage at one of the warehouses that Bob Bigelow owns. We have been trying to get him to dig it out for years, and he has never gotten anybody to dig it out for us.
Why?
I'm working on it.
Thanks for sharing all this information with us.
I was happy to have you here, and it was good talking with you.
We're ready.
Anytime.
So, aliens. We put a bunch of information about this on sci-fi.com.
This guy I talked to in Austin, Dr. Eric Davis, who has a PhD in astrophysics, he worked on Skinwalker Ranch. According to Eric Davis, if we're going to look for aliens, one of the best places to do it would be Skinwalker Ranch, because some very reputable people have reported seeing phenomenon there, him being one of them. At Skinwalker Ranch, you can't get in there. They have really high security. You know, there's reports of like government cars going in there and stuff. Then to me, I start thinking, well, something must be going on there.
What we need to do, man, is we need to go to Skinwalker Ranch ourselves.
Yes.
We need to go and bring some night vision equipment, scan the skies, talk to the locals.
Yes.
See if it's hooey.
Exactly.
There's a guy named Ryan Skinner, and we're gonna meet him there. He's been studying Skinwalker Ranch, and he's gonna show us the ins and outs. And who knows, man? I mean, it might be one of those things where we get there, we see a bunch of crazy.
Exactly. That's the only way you could know.
You never know.
Cool.
Skinwalker Ranch, baby. Here we come.
Can't wait.
So is Skinwalker Ranch an intergalactic spaceport? Is it possible? Maybe Robert Bigelow and all the fine folks at Skinwalker Ranch have some answers. Is this the gate?
I don't know. I guess so. Oh, that's it.
All right, here we go, buddy.
So now we're headed into Bigelow Ranch. By now, according to the majority of UFO people, we were being monitored, probably had some facial recognition scans happening.
They've probably done a neuro image of our brain to find out whether or not we're benevolent.
Yes.
Okay, there's a barrier up here. This is the entrance to Bigelow Ranch. This is as far as I go. This says private property, no trespassing, and I'm not one for trespassing.
Look, why don't I just go up there so I could say I've touched the gate at Bigelow Ranch?
Okay, go ahead.
This might be the last you guys ever see of me. I just want to see if I can get in, see what happens. Bottom line, if I'm at a UFO ranch, I'm going to go in as far as I can. The best thing that can happen, we activate their security mechanism, we see the men in black come out, and I get my memory erased and get to start over and read all the wonderful books I've read as though I never read them before. Let's check it out.
There's no upside to this.
Joe doesn't want to break any laws. Joe has kids. I'm in the Silver League in StarCraft. I live alone. I don't even have a pet. So being arrested only makes me less lonely. How many private property signs do you need? Is the idea that if there's more than one, you're not gonna trespass? Oh, let's put 19 private property. You just need one sign. Robert Bigelow. Hello? Hello? Mr. Bigelow! That's the movement. I hear something.
Coming up.
In the middle of nowhere, looking for aliens.
God, there is a creepy vibe.
I thought I heard something.
Hear that?
Yeah, I can hear him now.
Dude. We're at the doorstep of Skinwalker Ranch. I'm hiding in the car like a little bitch, but my courageous friend Duncan is screaming at the top of his lungs, trying to get the security people to come out and talk to him.
Hello? Mr. Bigelow!
Out of all the things the security people prepared for, I bet the last thing they thought they were gonna see is a hipster in a fedora screaming at the top of his lungs.
Mr. Bigelow! We have pizza! Everyone loves pizza. Even millionaires trying to go to the moon would like a nice slice of pie. That's the movement. I hear something. I can't tell if I'm seeing a person or what. I don't know, man. Everyone told us there was a security gate here. Nothing. Bigelow Ranch is a little disappointing.
Duncan didn't get sucked into a wormhole at Skinwalker Ranch as much as he might have enjoyed it, but we're all about to get sucked into the wild eyewitness accounts of one of the locals. His name is Mike Miller, and he's about to tell us about some really bizarre events that happen around here almost nightly. So, Mike, you've been out here for about 3 years.
Yes.
And you were aware of the history of this place before you moved here? Had you seen anything before you moved here?
Oh, yeah, you bet.
What's the craziest thing you've seen personally?
The object hovering over my pickup about 6 years ago, yeah.
What was it?
It was like a rectangular shaped object hovering over my pickup. I could see the lines. It looked like tic-tac-toe lines, and not a sound. It appeared with no sound, and I stumbled and fell, got up and looked, and it was gone.
So you've seen this one big, gigantic thing that was hovering over
my pickup.
And it's completely silent, but you've seen orbs as well, right?
No, orbs just shot over my pickup. Orange balls of light, and they'd streak across the front of my pickup, and they'd land from here to that tree. When they'd hit that, they'd zigzag straight up into the sky. Bright light would go so far up into the sky, you couldn't see where it ended. No sound. Nothing, no static in the air, no electricity, just these balls of light.
Do you think it could just be ball lightning or swamp gas?
No, these are governed. These are governed by something.
Well, if you saw something like that, it would be really hard to describe it to people, and then it would be really hard to get people to listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what they think?
I don't really care what they think. I know what I see, and there's a lot of other people here, too, that...
Do you think they're dangerous?
You know, the Bigelow Ranch, their dogs chased one, and dogs are gone. They just disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Prize bulls disappear.
Really?
Dogs disappear. I'd break my heart, my dog disappearing like that.
But this Bigelow Ranch is just really unique spot in the country, right?
This is one of the hot spots, yeah. It is.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. Really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Been an honor talking to you guys.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.
If Mike Miller did see those things, then damn it, I want to see them too. We're gonna meet up with a guy named Ryan Skinner, and he claims that he knows every inch of Bigelow Ranch, AKA Skinwalker Ranch. And he also says he's seen the UFOs with his own eyes. So, what are we doing and what should we expect?
We're at Skinwalker Ranch. We can expect anything from Bigfoots to orbs.
You've seen Bigfoot?
I've had an experience with Bigfoot in the Uinta Mountains up here. But
what was the experience?
This thing comes crashing through the woods. It's making monkey noises. We ended up running away.
It made monkey noises?
Yeah.
Wow.
Real like.
So Ryan Skinner has seen UFOs and Bigfoot. Maybe he's just the luckiest guy on Earth. What have you experienced out here?
The main thing we've experienced is balls of light. One of these orbs actually landed. It became a cloud, a misty cloud, a black cloud, swirled around, coalesced into the shape of a wolf, which is now standing directly in front of us. I kid you not, 100%. I'm getting the skeptic vibe from you. The best people to bring out.
No way! Come on, that's not what I'm giving out. Okay, from here on out, I'm operating on faith alone, because Ryan Skinner broke my meter. But I'm here, I came all the way out to Utah. I want to see some UFOs, so let's move forward.
This is gonna be a good view.
So if you're gonna see something, you got a great vantage from where we're at right now.
Wow.
We can look directly down into the ranch house.
So this ranch that we're looking at has armed guards that keep people from getting into it.
3 to 4 armed guards, all of them ex-military. They hold a top secret clearance. Not only that, they got a bunch of pylons and barriers in front of the gate, cameras, sensors. There's bait pens out there in the fields.
What do you mean by bait pens?
The big thing that was happening at that time was cattle mutilations. The scientists would actually tie cattle down and watch the cattle be mutilated right in front of them, and that's why they built all these bait pens out there.
Watch the cattle being mutilated by what?
By whatever's out here.
Now, Bigelow, he's doing his own research for NASA. So it's possible that he's just working on
top secret
stuff.
Sounds completely legitimate and reasonable. Like if you were gonna have a place where you worked on experimental aircraft, that stuff is very secret, also probably worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
You would want to protect it. Interesting. Of course I'm skeptical, because I haven't seen but we're here, we got some night vision equipment, I'm hanging out with Duncan. Let's go search for UFOs. This is our UFO call. It's our mating call. If the UFOs don't come to that, they're not coming.
Here we are. In the middle of nowhere, looking for aliens. This is fun.
The point of what we're trying to do is disturb whatever is up there, if all these stories are true. And my experience has always been, every time we've got activity, it's been on the move, and we go to a new location, we hit the new location, something pops up. God, there is a kind of creepy vibe about this.
I thought I heard something.
Hear that? Thought I seen something over here. Oh, I just don't want to scare it away.
No, what are you seeing? Duncan and I are in the vicinity of Skinwalker Ranch. We're with Ryan Skinner, and we're looking for any evidence of UFOs. I thought I heard something.
Hear that? Kind of a glow is there. We seen things beyond the tree on the ridge line behind us. That's the stuff night vision will pick up. I thought I seen something over here. Oh, I just don't want to scare it away. Does anybody got the scope on this?
Looking through night vision.
Into the brush. Look at it, it's creating a weird glow with the laser when I pointed on it.
Yeah, it is weird how all those rocks are warm up there.
Yeah.
It's maybe metal or something, you know?
What is that?
I don't know, man. I don't see anything.
You know what it is? It's the moon reflecting off the stump.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
I feel something, though. I feel a disturbance in the force.
Man. Disappointed.
So what happened?
Saw some rocks, bats.
No wormholes?
No wormholes.
So what's your conclusion?
We came out here too late.
Ah.
Timing's everything. Everything's right spot, right time.
I think if there is something out here that happens on a frequent basis, the odds of us catching it in one night are pretty slim.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they're not real. Look, the world itself is incredible. The fact that giraffes are real, the fact that there are black holes and supernovas, but this issue where you can't get a picture of it, nobody's got a video of anything, it's too convenient, and it smells. It smells like there's no portals on camera.
Yet.
I want to believe that there's intelligent life out there in the universe. I think we all want to believe that we're not alone on a speck of rock floating through the universe. We want to believe there's something that's going to come down here and see this mess that we've created and just smack some sense into us. But I've tried everything to get evidence. We've met with UFO hunters, abductees, politicians. What do I have to show for it? Nothing. Where's the proof? So if you find anything, grab an alien by the scruff of his neck and hold on to that little bitch. They're tiny. They barely fight back, I hear. But the big fear that I have is, what if intelligent life looks at us the same way we look at chimps when we go to the Congo? Maybe we really are the big, stupid zoo of the universe. That's almost scarier than being alone. So then, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes in the skies. This is my here. Pieces are flying off of it, splattering on the walls of my brain. What am I doing?